Long day today. Just work thrown at me left and right. Got through a bunch of things, but didn't get down here to the boat on time when I wanted to, so I got very little time. So I figured what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop up all of these old clutches. I was able to find on Kijiji, the local classifieds, another couple clutches. Actually, somebody had the exact match of what I have here, these old XA clutches from Spinlock. So what I realized is that I need to just oil them up or service them. So I want to take them apart and then give them a service and then clean them up, all this stuff, and then I'll put them back in. Plus the second thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take the clutch and I'm going to extend this down and make a little bit of a platform and then move them down, because I've got two to sit side by side and they're just too many. There's just not enough spot here. That's not big enough. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand all this down, and then I'm going to put a little bit of a platform extension, and then I'm going to lower these down a little bit. At least that's what I'm going to try. Not significantly a lot, but just a little bit. Shift them down, but give them a stronger footing to connect into. So anyways, I'm just going to take these out. Yeah, one thing I failed to mention here is that the back bolt that I'm taking out right now is actually right on the lip or the edge, and it just doesn't have a great holding. That's another reason why I want to make the platform. If you look halfway up the mast, it's definitely a lip just above the spreaders. Now I'm just going to basically take the screws out, take everything apart, oil them up. They're a little stiff. And then make sure it's just basic servicing before I put them back in. Projects. If you'd like to help us out, like most people, we're working on a budget. We set up a Patreon page. If you'd like to join the crew, we could use some better camera equipment. That's what we're going to largely use that for, to help keep us supported making videos. And if you also, a big help would be to comment, hit the notification button, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up if you like these videos. Thank you. I got myself some buckets, and what I'm going to do, if you look here, okay, so basically, see how this is raised and it's on a bit of an angle? I'm going to try to do the same thing with this here. So I'm going to cut the bucket along that line, and what I want to do is I want to put this winch here, and this bucket's just a little bit bigger, so if I want to go with a slightly bigger winch I can. Right now this is a 22, and again, the reason why I'm doing this is that my winch handle hits this thing, so I want to move that over here where my winch handle won't hit it. And I also think that having it back here a little bit will give me, it'll have a little bit more distance between it and those pieces. So that's kind of why I'm doing it. It's basically to pull it back, and I'm trying to get it roughly in line, so the winch will be up here, it'll be close, so that way the rope isn't at a dramatic angle. And that worked pretty good. That's my platform to mount the winch on. So I'm going to put this in and it'll give me my shape, and I'm going to fiberglass using this. So I'll go about there. This time it hits. Gonna need a shorter winch handle, I guess. Let me see if I have a shorter one.
You're still there.
Yeah. About to call it a day, I think.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Maybe I can just cut an inch off because I don't like it there. I'll find a shorter handle. So it needs to be right here. it ain't broke, don't fix it. .3/16 for this Barlow 22. So I have already done a ton of maintenance on these. I took them apart and soaked them in diesel, and I ended up re-greasing them so they look really good. So you take that top Allen key off, and then you just slide the top off, and then inside here there's a little piece that just sort of fits over that inside screw. And then take this off, take these out. So now I can get my access to those screws. So I'm just going to keep this all together like that, even with these screws in there, just so I don't lose them. And then when the winch goes back on, I'll see if I can just use those same screws again. And that's that. Pretty solid. So I don't really think that they knew how strong fiberglass was. Like, that's 5/8 solid fiberglass is what that was right here. So it's a perpendicular pulling force, so the strongest way is the bolts down. Because that's why the way they built them, right? Back in the 70s, they were really, compared to the new boats, they're so much thinner. When mixing, you just want equal pumps. These pump cavities are proportional, so it's I think it's a 1:5 ratio. And I need a fair amount of resin because I'm going to be doing about 7 or 8 layers here to get the thickness up to where the other one used to be. I only have about 8 minutes on a hot day like today. It's about 15, so I gotta move and work fast. This pot life will be very short, but the strength really comes from the fiberglass, not from that little piece of wood. It's just holding it in place, really. And I'm just putting these layers in to get myself the thickness back to the top, so you can still see I got a ways to go here. Keep going. So that should be solid. I'm going to epoxy that in, and that'll be my raised platform for the winch. To build this winch support, I'm just going to put one layer down initially here and firm it in place, and then I'm going to cut a piece of wood about a 1/2 inch thick, and then I'm going to put all my layers over top. I'm just going to keep working it here until I get it to be sit down as much as I can. I'm going to be putting more layers on top, quite a few, so it's not going to go anywhere. But I just don't want to have bubbles and holes. I just want it to be flat as much as possible. What the other side looks like. So this is actually very stiff, but the top is thin because I don't have a piece here yet. So I'm going to be putting a piece of wood and then covering it up with some, probably about 3 or 4 layers of a really thick, the 17-ounce biaxial that I have. So, you know, I'm going to have 35 to 50 ounces of fiberglass strands over top of a 1/2 inch wood, and then that's what the piece will come into. And then I'm going to feather this edge here to make a nice groove going around, and just sand it down until I get it all out. But you can see that all the extra pieces, I just sort of sanded them off here around the edge, and it's enough. That's fixed in there. And before doing it, I ground down right down to the fiberglass. Capping off these winch mounts. So I'm putting a thick layer of epoxy on, and I'm encouraging hopefully some squeezes out. Basically, I'm going to fill this up here as much as I can. Make sure that this is all glued in nicely, which this definitely is. And then I'm going to drape the cloth over top of this too. So the idea here is that this is what the bolts will connect into. The strength will be the overall fiberglass, but just to give the threads some bite, I'm going to tap the threads right into the wood. And if I feel that it's not strong enough, I'm just going to drill through and put a bolt on the underside of the cabin top down below. Essentially, this is why I'm doing this. Looking good. I guess that'll be the second coat, but I've got, I guess, the inner support, 1 layer of fiberglass, then I put the wood on it for the top for the bolts to have something to bite into. And then this is the first 18-ounce cloth here, 17-ounce cloth, same with this side here. And it's a little bit, I'll have to sand it out. I think it was a little bit hard to put this one on. I was trying to figure out what the right shape is, and I think I got it by cutting up into it on all corners. So I made 8 slits. You can see them right here, and then I just sort of overlapped them. And I think that's going to work out okay, but I'm going to take some putty before I, so I'm going to sand it down, get rid of kind of all the odd bumps and shapes, and then I'm going to fill that up. So I'm going to be doing these here next. That's the mounts for the clutches, 1 on each side. So basically 2 here and 2 here. I just wanted something where I could kind of mount that to be solid. So I'm going to be creating a little piece of fiberglass and drape that over, and then building that out there tomorrow once that sits for a bit. It's like, I don't know, this is like almost 20 some ounces, 25 ounces. Really big, thick. So I'm just going to do an under layer with this stuff. You know, I just wanted to thank you guys for watching. Just amazed at all the people watching and commenting. I think we're over 400 subscribers now, which is just cool. I'm not really expecting much out of this aside from just trying to share what I'm doing. So I appreciate all the comments. You know, the lovers and the haters out there, there's all kinds, but you know, to me it's just documenting what I'm doing, and you know, hopefully somebody points out some of the mistakes I'm making, and you know, if I can share some knowledge of what I'm learning along the way, that's really the intention here. So we're getting close. I've got a couple of more days left here. We're still in lockdown, so I can't even use the boat, but it is going to go into the water on the 11th, and providing it doesn't have any leaks or anything like that. That should be fine. I'm just going to stick it beside the there's some docks here that are close to the yard. It's not the actual marina, and then I'm going to just, if I have to do a little bit of work, I'll just finish off a few projects there near the water until I'm comfortable to leave it. Motors were running and turning, so I want to brace the mounts a little bit, do a lot of vacuuming, and I like to change my electrical panel. That's one thing that's missing. You know what, I can't get this, I'm looking for a horizontal Blue Sea Systems panel, and there is one that has 8 breakers on it, and I just can't find it. And I tried ordering it online, and they said that they were out of stock, and I said, well, I don't want to wait, so just tell me when you have stock. But I don't know, I'm having a hard time with that one. But basically on Monday I'm picking up the sails. The sailmaker patched my sails for me, looked them over. He cut 1.5 feet off the bottom of the main. Turns out my main was too big. And same with the Genoa, the furler. He took 1.5 feet off the bottom of it now, so I won't have that weird draping that's going on in the front. So I'll have a tight leading edge of the sail, which is good. So I'm looking forward to getting those on Monday. Monday night I'm going to put them on, and I don't know if I'm going to do cushions or anything like that right away, but I still have a pile of work to do on the inside. But like I said, progress, small baby steps, and you get the